Hi guys, I just wanted to create a video to basically explain my ADHD diagnosis story. I've already uploaded one, but it was really bad quality because it came off of TikTok. And I just wanted to make a better quality one that's a little bit longer and a little bit more in depth because the other one I filmed at 1 o'clock in the morning and it cut out a load of things. So yeah. Please excuse my background. I have just moved and there's boxes everywhere and I just cannot get round to unpacking most of them. But yeah, so I don't remember too much of my childhood, besides the fact that I was severely bullied um, throughout school. So my mum would always describe me as a child on speed because I'd get really, really hyper. I'd also get like really angry. A lot of the time, I went to the doctors quite a bit because my mum wanted to know what was wrong with me, and the doctors would always say it's part of growing up. So that was really disappointing because I had no idea what was wrong with me. I really struggled to make friends. I was bullied severely for being the weird kid, and things like that, and it just wasn't very nice. So in year 5 or year 4, I said to my mum, if I have to go back to that school, I'm going to unalive myself. So within a week, I was already at a new school, and it was going okay. Obviously, you had some not nice people there, but as the new girl, everyone wanted to be my friend, which was something I didn't really experience before because no one wanted to be my friend because I was always quite intense. And things, but when I moved school I didn't realize how far behind I was in comparison to like my peers. So we had a science lesson, and I'd never done science before, so this was year 6, and it was basically putting tea, like making tea and putting biscuits in tea to see how long it took for them to like dissolve or whatever. So after that we had to draw like a table, and we were told to draw a table of our equipment. So as you draw like the lines and stuff like that. I drew because I'd never been taught what a table was. Bear in mind I was about 10 or 11. I drew like your standard dining room table and drew pictures of the equipment on it. Me and my sister still laugh about it to this day, but at the time, like, the bullying from my classmates at the time was relentless because they were like, oh my god, you're so stupid, like, how do you not know this? And it's just made me feel so small. But yeah, that was probably one of the earliest memories of when I started taking things way too literally. And then when I went to secondary school, it was difficult because I didn't have any friends. I'd follow groups around to try and see if they'd be my friend, like, just trying to get to know people. I'd follow them and they'd just be kind of like walk away from me, and it'd be really sad. Like, looking back, I was just really fucking annoying, but I just wanted friends. So until maybe like year 8 or 9, I used to eat lunch with my sister and her friends. So that was really annoying for them because they obviously didn't want somebody younger to hang out with them, but well, my sister helped raise me, so she wasn't going to let me be on my own. Um, so it was quite difficult, and then I made a group of friends, and they let me eat lunch with them, and I ate lunch with them until after year 11. So even in college, I'd still see them, it was really nice. We'd eat lunch in like the English room or the Spanish room. So we were quite a secluded group, but it was okay because I had a group, I had friends. I only talk to maybe one or two of them now, which is fine. I don't really have many friends now, to be fair. But throughout secondary school, I had to deal with severe bullying again. It was more physical bullying, getting kicked and punched quite a bit more, getting forced into other people's hobbies. But because I wanted friends, I would try and be like, yeah, I'm interested in that too, when they try and force me into like in their stuff, and I was like, I didn't. I just wanted to fit in so badly. I didn't know what was wrong with me. I still, like, everyone would be like, are you got problems? I don't know. In secondary school still, I'll go to my GCSEs. I did a road trip through America on Google Maps. So I'd just click across the road all the way from Michigan down to Texas, through California, back up through North and South Dakota, and ended up in Philadelphia somewhere. Just clicking along the road. It took a few weeks, and people were telling me that I'd fail all my classes, and I never did. I also taught myself another language. I taught myself Norwegian while I was also learning Spanish for school. Which is quite funny because everyone who told me I was going to fail my GCSEs, I got my highest grades in maths and Spanish. So they were completely wrong, but they doubted me, and I now realise that I was dopamine seeking, which I didn't really know at the time was that. I just maybe thought procrastination, or I don't know, but now I kind of realise it was dopamine seeking. I was trying to do something I enjoyed to take my mind off of learning, essentially, because academics just wasn't my thing. So now going to college, I met some more friends. Obviously, with the classes, there was only a few classes, 4 classes or something. You got to know people who were more interested in the things that you were interested in, and it was okay. I had some friends. I had a group, but that might have I think that disappeared after like the first year of college. So, I didn't end up going much in my second year. I still passed my A levels, but I didn't really turn up to classes because I just had no motivation. And while I was in college, I was diagnosed with anxiety and depression. So I was going back to the doctors still. So as a child, I was going back to the doctors, and they were like, "Well, we'd like to send you to a specialist because yeah." So I went to a private person. I got diagnosed with anxiety and depression, which I now know that a lot of women were diagnosed with prior to their ADHD or autism diagnoses. So once that, I got put on medications, which I'm still on. I do have anxiety and depression. It wasn't a misdiagnosis, but it was almost like everything else got brushed under the rug. So I went to therapy as well for a bit. So I had a really awesome therapist. I did some hypnotherapy for a bit, which really helped a lot with my academics and trying to get through university as well, because I decided to go to university to do a completely pointless degree in music management. And it helped a lot, but I also was still quite separated from everyone. I didn't really have friends. I still don't. I wasn't really showing up to classes. I had no motivation to do anything. I was just kind of at that point immersing myself in like video games and things like that, because I just wanted to take my mind off of the things that weren't making me happy. So that was college. Not really much there besides just toxic friendships that happen in college and toxic relationships. Most of my relationships have been quite toxic because people have said things like I've been told that I was unwell. I've been told that, well, I've been called the R slur several times. Being called autistic, it's not a bad thing, but it's not nice when you don't know your diagnosis. I've had friends ask me, "Do you have problems? Why are you so weird? Is everything okay?" Like, mentally. And I'm just like, I'm just me. And when I was playing video games, a lot of people would maybe call me like names like the R slur and ask if I had problems. And that was kind of the start of it, because I knew I wasn't all there, I guess. I knew that I wasn't the same as everyone else. And that's okay. But I didn't know what it was. And then my sister, I want to say just before COVID, she got told she had autism. And she's a nurse. She's really interested in medical things. And she's recommended that I I went for ADHD and autism diagnosis. I sent all the forms out. It was quite funny because when I filled out the forms, one of the questions was, do you get distracted easily? And I had ticked it, yes, and then I'd obviously walked away and done something else, because when my sister came home, she could not stop laughing because I'd clearly gone distracted at the question that said, do you get distracted? And yeah, I'm glad I could make people laugh. But yeah, so I got, just after COVID, I'd say early 2022, I got a letter through that said that I could be seen within 2 weeks if I decided I wanted a appointment via a video call. And I said, well, yeah, because it's the same as seeing someone in person, just over a video. It's fine, I'll do that. So I did. A couple of weeks later, I had met with a psychiatrist and another person, and they both diagnosed me with combined ADHD. So I have a mixture of inattentive and hyperactive ADHD, and was put on medication. The medication side of things was quite difficult. I was put on 18 milligrams of methylphenidate, which really messed with my head. So at the time, my nan was really unwell in hospital, and I didn't want to bother anyone with what was going on in my head. But I had gone into psychosis. I used to work at a supermarket, and I was convinced that, when the store was closed, by the way, I used to think there was some guy, an old guy, following me. I'd think he was opposite the bus stop. He didn't exist, he wasn't there. I didn't want to tell anyone. I told my sister, and then I ended up talking to the psychiatrist, like, I need to change my medication. It was really scary, and I didn't want to bother anyone, but they moved me up to what I'm on now, which is, I want to say 21, maybe, but no, it's a bit more than that, 26. But I was on that, and it worked, it was fine. And then they wanted to try me on the higher one, so I was on 30 something, and it made me really depressed, and I didn't like it, so I went back down to the middle one. And after they moved me down to the other one, I've been on that since 2022. So summer of 2022, I've been on methylphenidate. So it's been helpful. I still struggle a lot, but it's been a good time to sit and understand myself a bit more, like, especially through I know people have been self-diagnosing themselves through TikTok and things, but it's really helped me learn who I am and why I am the way I am and why I do certain things. And I'm in so many, like, community groups on Facebook, which has really helped a lot, like women with ADHD. I've met so many women who are late diagnosed, and it's been really kind of helpful to have other experiences. But I also felt a lot of grief. I felt let down by my parents, because even though they tried, there was no education around women with ADHD, or even girls with ADHD. It was mostly, if you're not a 5-year-old boy, you don't have it. It's like, it's not nice, but I felt a lot of grief, but my parents are still learning. I felt grief towards schools, because there was nothing. Like, none of my teachers from primary, secondary, university, college, anything like that, like, none of them had brought up the idea that there was some neurodiversity there. The autism diagnosis kind of got brushed under the rug. I'm not going to rush into it because I've got loads of stuff going on, but I might eventually get round to doing that one again, because they just went through with the ADHD one, not the autism one. So if I fill out the forms again, they might go with it, but at the moment I'm content with the fact that I know I've got ADHD. And people have said for a long time that, like, oh yeah, it makes a lot of sense, like, that you have something. I was like, oh yeah, but it's just knowing what. But yeah, I think it's been good, it's been helpful, and people get really annoyed at me. So when I post a lot of videos on TikTok and YouTube about, like, just shorts about, like, being a woman with ADHD and my experiences. I have other accounts based on other things, but this is just my ADHD journey, and a lot of, mostly men, do not like that in the comments. They drop a lot of hate. They tell me I don't have it. They tell me I'm lazy, or that I'm just trying to make an excuse up, or that I'm just trying to get benefits. I've never had benefits. I've always worked since I was 15. So yeah, and I don't plan on not working. So it's not an excuse not to work. It's not an excuse for anything. It's just my journey and finding out who I am and learning to love myself. But yeah, so I wanted to post this video just because the other video was quite short and really crappy. So yeah, I will potentially post another video soon, but I'm not sure yet. But yeah, I will see you guys later. Bye.